Division of decimal numbers. Before we look at dividing decimal numbers, we will remind ourselves how to divide whole numbers. So let's say we have the question 55 divided by 5. So in this case, we draw the bus stop, place the 55 inside and the 5 outside the bus stop. And then we say how many 5s goes into the first 5? That's 1. And then we say how many 5s goes into the next 5, which is 1. So the answer here becomes 11. Now let's say I change this question and I place a decimal point in here. So it becomes 5.5 divided by 5. The method stays the same. The only difference here is that we place the decimal point in the middle, as we have 5.5. So we write 5.5 in the middle. And then, keeping that same column and that same position, we place the decimal point above in the answer as well. So it's 1.1. So the answer here, 5.5 divided by 5, is 1.1. Let's look at another example. 5.65 divided by 5. So here we draw the bus stop and we write the 5.65 in the middle and the 5 outside. So then we ask ourselves, how many 5s goes into the first 5? That's 1. Then we have the decimal point, so we write the decimal point next. Then we ask ourselves, how many 5s goes into 6? That's 1. But we're trying to get to 6, but that only takes us up to 5. So we have remainder 1. And then we ask ourselves, how many 5s goes into 15, which is 3. So our answer is 1.13. Let's look at another example. 6.96 divided by 3. So again, we use the bus stop. We place 6.96 in the middle, place a 3 outside. So then we ask, how many 3s goes into 6? That's 2. We then place the decimal point. We then ask ourselves, how many 3s goes into 9? That's 3. And then we ask ourselves, how many 3s goes into 6? That's 2. So our answer is 2.32. Let's look at another example. 34.4 divided by 5. So again, we draw the bus stop and we place the 34.4 in the middle and the 5 outside. We then ask ourselves, how many 5s goes into 3? Well, it doesn't, so we place a 0. So that takes us up to 0, but we want to get to 3, so we carry forward 3. We then ask ourselves, how many 5s goes into 34? That's 6. And we have 4 left over, so we place the 4 in front of the next number, 44. Next thing is we put a decimal point above, because we reached the decimal point. And then we ask ourselves, how many 5s goes into 44? That's 8. And we have 4 remainder, so we place a 0. And then we add a 4 in front of the 0. Then we ask ourselves, how many 5s goes into 40? And that's 8. So our answer here is 6.88. Note the 0 here we did not write in our answer because it has no value, as the first non-zero number is the 6. Let's look at another example. 40.32 divided by 8. So again, we draw our bus stop, put the 40.32 in the middle, and place the 8 outside. We then ask ourselves, how many 8s goes into 4? Well, it doesn't, so we place 0 there, and we carry forward the 4. And then we ask ourselves, how many 8s goes into 40? That's 5. There's nothing to carry forward. Then we place the decimal point aligned with the bottom one. Then we ask ourselves, how many 8s goes into 3? Well, it doesn't, so we place a 0. And then we have 3 to carry forward. So now we ask ourselves, how many 8s goes into 32? That's 4. So the answer here is 5.04.
You can download the application on Google Play or App Store, and you can visit our website mathslegends.co.uk.